The ranch breathed like a living thing that evening, boards creaking as the sun bled out behind the hills. He stood alone in the barn, dust floating like ash, his hands still trembling from the moment he couldn't undo. It had been instinct, reaching where he shouldn't, brushing against something old, cold, and not meant for skin. The air changed instantly, thickened, pressed against his chest. Horses stamped and screamed, eyes rolling white, chains rattling without touch. He whispered apologies to the dark, but the dark listened too closely. A smell of iron and wet earth seeped up from the floor. He felt watched, measured, judged. When he pulled his hand back, the place where it had been burned numb, as if the barn itself had bitten him. Outside, the wind died. Silence snapped tight. In that silence, something learned his name. He felt it settle behind his eyes, heavy and patient, as if it had been waiting years for a single careless touch. He backed away, heart hammering, knowing with terrifying clarity that the ranch no longer belonged to him, and that whatever he had awakened would not stay hidden now. Night fell fast, swallowing the land in a black so deep it erased distance. The house lights flickered, then steadied, as if pretending nothing had changed. He washed his hands until the skin split, but the cold stayed, crawling up his arms. Footsteps circled the porch, slow, deliberate, never quite there when he opened the door. His dog refused to come inside, whining at the fence, tail tucked, eyes fixed on the barn. The radio crackled with voices that weren't tuned to any station, murmuring fragments of his thoughts back at him. Every shadow leaned the wrong way. He tried to sleep and dreamed of fingers made of roots and bone, threading through the soil toward his bed. When he woke, the imprint of a hand was pressed into the dust on his window, too large, too many joints. The land groaned, fences sagged, and something breathed beneath the floorboards. He understood then. The touch had been permission. Not a mistake, but an invitation. And whatever had accepted it was exploring, testing doors, savoring fear like a language it had finally remembered how to speak. By morning, the ranch was wrong. Cattle stood frozen, heads turned in unison toward the barn. The well water ran dark for a heartbeat before clearing, as if swallowing something alive. He tried to leave, truck coughing and dying at the gate, keys burning his palm. The sky pressed low, clouds bruised and heavy, thunder muttering without rain. He went back to the barn, compelled, each step dragging him deeper into a place that felt older than fences, older than names. The floorboards parted with a wet sigh, revealing earth churned and marked by symbols cut with care. He recognized none of them, yet they recognized him. The air pulsed. A shape rose, not fully seen, more felt, like a pressure on the soul. It leaned close, curious, offended, pleased. He understood without words that it wanted acknowledgement. That the touch had woken hunger. He offered prayers, promises, blood from a split knuckle, but it laughed through the beams, a vibration that shook nails loose. Bargains were for equals. He was only the door. The last light failed as the land made its choice. Wind returned, howling names across the fields, tearing roofs and reason apart. He ran, but the ground rolled beneath him, paths looping back to the barn like veins to a heart. The thing followed without moving, always there, pressing closer, teaching him what terror really meant. Not fear of death, but of being kept. The house collapsed inward, walls folding like paper, memories peeling off him and drifting into the dark. He fell to his knees, hands raised, finally understanding the weight of that single moment. Touch
is never just touch. It is claim. The earth answered with a closing sound, deep and final. When dawn came, the ranch stood quiet, immaculate, as if nothing had ever happened. No tracks, no blood. Only a barn that hummed softly, satisfied. And beneath it, something rested with a man's warmth in its grasp, waiting for the next careless hand to knock.